we're going to talk about now, these high street canine fertility clinics near where Lisa lives. There have been dog fights outside it. Other shop owners and residents say they hear dogs constantly crying at all hours. The number of dogs with cropped ears that frequent the premises is highly suspicious. There are known gangsters who run it. The police are aware of it and have done nothing. Well, let's talk to Fabian Rivers about this. As I say, he's an award-winning veterinary surgeon. Fabian, you're very good to talk to us this afternoon. I understand you've actually just come out of surgery with some animals. I'm sure it's been a busy morning for you.
Yes, very, very busy, but couldn't miss this opportunity to talk about this very important, case, basically.
I just think these fertility clinics are absolutely shameful. I don't think anybody, people on my show will know this, I'm a big adopt, don't shop person. I'm a member of Cats Protection. I don't think anybody should be buying animals. I think they should be adopting them. I don't think breeding should be encouraged at all. Give us your perspective on this. Tell us the facts.
So it's a growing phenomena that we've had within the last, say, 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years ago, we only had, say, 10 to 30 fertility clinics in the UK, and now recent studies have shown that it's ballooned in size to at least 350 plus, looking 400 plus. And the reality is that people may be independently providing quote-unquote fertility clinic services, up into the thousands across the country effectively. And what we've seen is, as a result of these changes, people are taking risks and doing things which, are really poor animal welfare. And the veterinary community is really trying to help educate people into the risks related to that.
What are they actually doing at these clinics? Just talk us through what you've seen as a vet on the front line.
So it's very interesting because there is a gap between breeders, especially from fertility clinics, and vets. But what we did within the documentary a couple of years ago is we sent someone undercover to have a look at some of the things they were teaching at one of the main hubs where they teach quote-unquote fertility clinic, or how to start up your own fertility clinic. And what we saw was taking blood samples, which is a completely illegal thing to do, from people who aren't trained as vets or veterinary professionals, taking samples and inseminating, some of the female dogs there, but also advocating for these so-called certificates that after 8 hours of not really doing anything, observing, that you can then start up your own fertility clinic at home. And you can imagine, if you've never picked up a syringe, you've never, done a degree in animal science, or you're a veterinary nurse, or you're a veterinary professional like myself, and after 8 hours of just observing someone do a lot of variety of different things, which is completely illegal, and 8 hours later saying, well, you can do it at home, wherever you are.
That's ludicrous. So how long did you train to be a vet? 5 years, 6 years?
So 6 years. 6 years.
8 hours is not. I'm to be honest, I'm a bit nervous about putting flea drops on my cat, because I'm not fairly trained to do that, and he runs away usually anyway. But this is, these people setting up clinics on the high street, surely they should be outlawed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's really hard to regulate because it's such a new phenomenon. And there are certain acts that you can do, quote unquote, as an untrained person. But what we're finding is that part of it is leaning into a much more illicit, a kind of a darker back story that's developing. And we're really trying to chase with that. And we're trying to talk to the government, talk to relevant parties. But even within that, it's really, really difficult. But yeah, 100%. It needs to be regulated in some sense.
Yeah, I just don't think it should happen at all, to be honest. What in terms of the world that it is connected to? We had Lisa there saying that there were people she thought were involved in dogfighting, who were cropping ears, who were doing things that are illegal in that sense. There are clear links here, aren't there? Not in all of these places, I should say, but in some of them at least.
I think it's something that we can't avoid, and I would say that the reason why I'm personally so concerned with fertility clinics is because of the wider culture that's attached to it.
Yeah.
We are talking about being able to make huge amounts of money very quickly, and there is a quite clear connection between people who involve themselves in all sorts of illicit things, drugs and so on and so forth, who also have connections to a variety of these places, and that makes it an incredibly difficult and dangerous dark world, because they're not doing it for the love of animals. They're doing it for a quick buck. And as a result, when we commodify certain things, welfare and standards drop. And that's what we're really concerned about.
So what is your message then to people who might be watching or listening, who might say, well, actually, you know, I have a female dog, I just want some puppies, maybe I'll go to one of these canine fertility clinics. What's your message to those people?
I think my main message is, first of all, is really decide if they want to do it. It's incredibly difficult. There are a huge amount of caveats, and it can become really quite financially tasking. If you have a breed which may have issues and complications during pregnancy, you know, flat-faced breeds, bulldogs, Frenchies, for example, consider that C-section is really invasive, really expensive, and you're not always going to get a positive outcome. But also, when it comes to fertility clinics, just be really sure that you're making the right decision. Speak to your vet about what they feel is most appropriate, and do the research. There's something called a puppy contract, for example, which is really important. If you want to buy, then there are certain steps that you can take to kind of work out whether it's the appropriate place, it's a safe place, and you've got a responsible breeder.
Yeah, I just think the whole thing, it stinks, really, and I think that everybody should adopt animals and adopt dogs and adopt cats rather than buying them for breeders in general.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you're excellent, Fabian. Thank you very much. I'm sure you're a very excellent vet and responsible vet as well. The Dready vet is what he calls himself as well. Fabian Rivers, their award-winning veterinary surgeon.